thousands of people have taken to the streets in Argentina's capital, Buenos Aires, in one of the country's biggest anti-government protests in more than a decade. They're angry at rising inflation, crime and high-profile corruption. They're also afraid President Cristina Fernández de Kirchner will change the law in a bid to hold on to power indefinitely.
As the sun went down on Buenos Aires on Thursday, tens of thousands of protesters banged on pots and pans and chanted. Organized via social media, it was one of the country's biggest anti-government protests in a decade. These Argentinians came out to voice their anger over rising inflation. It's been going up by about 10% a year. The crowd was also concerned about violent crime and corruption. These Argentinians have had it with their government.
The people are tired of the authoritarian model. They lie to us like little kids. We want a change in a government that listens to us and not treat us like idiots.
The protests swelled until there were enough demonstrators to fill 9 de Julio, one of the world's widest avenues. Many had come banging pots and pans, the iconic style of protest made famous during Argentina's economic crisis a decade ago. Then such protests drove several presidents from office.
This is the mechanism protesters have chosen because they're not satisfied with the direction of politics in general and the government.
It was the second such protest in less than 2 months.
Despite the massive crowd, there aren't any speeches here. The organizers like to say it's a leaderless movement. What you have instead is thousands of people gathered here at the obelisk in the center of Buenos Aires, showing signs that say how angry and disgusted they are with the government and with President Kirchner.
There were coordinated protests across Argentina and in global capitals like this one in Rome. In the year since her re-election, Kirchner's popularity has fallen drastically. A rapidly growing economy has come to a standstill. In an attempt to keep capital in the country, Kirchner has restricted imports and the sale of dollars. Some say it's made the economic slowdown even worse.
Really, I believe we're on a mistaken economic path, and I disagree with all the restrictions they've put in place. They're taking away our freedom.
The president has to govern for all the 40 million Argentines without prejudice. Enough impunity already and enough corruption. We've had it.
Protesters are just as furious with opposition as they are with the president. That could pose a problem for a movement that wants to get rid of the president but has no strong leader to offer as a replacement.